Welcome to another episode of the Metal Roundup as we catch up on what's been happening in the metal music scene over the last couple of weeks. It's been about 3 weeks or so since our last recorded episodes. Looking forward to finding out what's been going on recently. Back in touch with my boys, Drew Fortune and Metal Burb. How are we, folks? It's been a while. How we doing?
Yeah, it's been a while, just us three. Yeah, but it's good. I'm drinking my coffee and Drew non-alcoholic beer, I found out.
Yeah, off the alcohol in February, so tactically,
Are you sure you're not on the alcohol?
Tactfully chose the shortest month of the year to be off the alcohol. It sounds like I'm completely on the alcohol right now. I'm slurring my words and shit, but it is non-alcoholic. Trust me, all right? Yeah, man. It's good to be back. Chat to you boys.
Yes. Yeah. There's been some interesting releases that have happened in the last few weeks, so we'll be chatting about them. I'm getting excited about some potential upcoming new releases of music that we've been excited for ever since, 2023. So we'll see what we think about the teasing coming up on a very notable band, which we try not to talk about, but today we will, of course.
Yeah, I have to.
But before we actually have some news to talk about with them now. It's not just like us shoehorning them into a conversation. Like we have legit reason, so
we would never.
We're allowed.
We'd never. Yeah. Yes, very true. But before we get to that, what's been going on in your lives recently, folks, in the music sense? I don't really want to know about your grocery shopping, but Drew, what about yourself? What have you been up to?
Just been fucking slaving away, man, living the dream. There's been loads of interesting things to make content around. I've been kind of changing up my content game a little bit and making more of an effort on short form content, which I never neglected, but I definitely just didn't really head on go at it. And weirdly enough, going like head on at short form content has made me enjoy the long form content again. Somehow, I don't know, well, not again, but it's made me enjoy long form content even more. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the connection is there. I think because the reach on short form content can be crazy. So it's like, okay, this is doing well. And then sometimes it can push more people to your long form, and then the long form starts to grow. So it's been fun. So I've found a little revitalization in my love for video. So I've just been saying, look, I'm in this groove right now. Let's fucking send it. So I've just been trying to put out as much content as possible. There's been some things that I've been pulling out of my arse and just making content from nothing, and it becomes something that people clearly enjoyed. So it's been fun, just trying new shit, man.
Nice. Yeah, I was noticing on your recent kind of longer form reactions, they're much simpler on the edits now. Is that kind of because you're doing so much in the short form, you're like, I'm just going to keep this one simple?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've dabbled in doing really crazy edits and shit on certain reactions, and then it's quite hard to quantify or decide if those edits are making a massive difference to retention. My retention hasn't really ever changed in terms of reaction videos. It seems to be roughly the same amount depending on how long whatever it is that I'm reacting to. It's generally the average view time will be how long the actual song is, and then people are just like, "Hi, I'm off." But
the curve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've just maybe it is. I've been putting more emphasis on the short form and editing that stuff a little more heavily, and then just YouTube can be the home, or the main long form videos can be the home for YouTube. Actually not this hyper ping 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 short form content shit. So not really been making much effort on the editing side with that stuff, but it just depends on what you're reacting to, I guess, as well. Sometimes certain videos just ask to be heavily edited, like the last Black Hole Architects video. That just lends itself to crazy edits and shit, but
Yeah, I like what you said about the short form content, kind of I don't know, giving you more life into the editing process. Because I remember when I was focusing on a short form 2 years ago, really going hard at it. Yeah. And then I went to my full YouTube videos. So Steve, for me, it actually translated to my YouTube videos to change my editing style, because to make it a little bit more exciting, because my reactions were kind of bare bone, but now I'm trying to work with the way that the music is. If it's a faster beat, I do a faster zoom in. But I've noticed this past year, to be honest, I've kind of taken a back step with the editing a little bit, been a little bit, but I've been just reactions to some songs where I don't have time to put it all on my main channel. I've been kind of uploading to my second channel, which a lot of people don't know I have, because it's kind of just there. I'm I don't know if I want to put this on my main channel, so I just throw it on my second channel. A Day to Remember, they dropped those two songs that I just did not care for, and it wasn't great content, but I know people want to see it, so I'm just going to throw it on my second channel, no edits, just throw it there because people still want to see the reaction. So that's what I've been doing lately, just kind of I don't know, branching out to the second channel and waiting for this architect stuff, Spiritbox, and Sleep Token teasers. Like, it's going to get real busy in the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
I mean, well, in terms of what I've been doing recently or edit style, my editing style hasn't really changed.
There's a lot of zooms, man. You're doing good with the zooms.
But that's not editing. That's live production. That was
I know. It's so sick.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's how little I want to edit stuff. I'm just like, I'll just hit the buttons and then I just clip it and up it goes. And it means that, it's very fast.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute turnaround from getting into my studio to like publishing something.
That's why you're so fast with getting all these song or videos out. Because you just upload it, don't you? Like,
yeah, I will trim it and then up it goes.
Oh my god,
which is great. But it does mean that during the reaction portion, I am just sat here with a square, which is not the most exciting thing in the world. Maybe in future I'll hit buttons and I'll like zoom in and go around. I don't know. But right now, no, it's all good. Because also, what's tricky? I mean, we're going in the weeds a little bit here, but if you're gonna make edits between your face and the music video, you're deciding what the viewer might want to see. They might actually want to see what your face was like during that one moment of the music video. Maybe you don't show that. That's a tricky thing. So at least with mine, what I console myself with is I'm giving them all the options. And though when I do that, sometimes they're like, your screen's too small, I can't see the video. Like, well, the video's about what I think of
Watch the fucking original.
Stop talking over it. Watch the fucking
off
original.
So much.
I know, like, why are you watching a reaction video then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that stuff, things have been fun. I've done a couple more interviews, which have been good since we last chatted. I interviewed Camille from Novelists and James Monteith, guitarist from Tesseract. And I did Tropic Gold a couple of days ago as well. They're an up-and-coming UK band that I really like very much. So those have been good. And they've been all like in-venue interviews. So I've had my studio on my back basically as I go and set up cameras and things. It's a little bit trickier, but
I'm just so mind blown to the amount of time or like how you schedule all this stuff. Like, you're also a dad too, which like I just have my dog. That's it. Like, I can barely do one video a day.
You got to be very efficient. There's a lot of stuff that gets done on the commute to work. Emails and things.
Yeah.
But,
while you're driving.
No.
I was going to say editing while driving.
On the train, on the tube.
Yeah.
On the tube in London.
There's no such thing as driving in London, is there?
Yeah. No. I mean, you can't. But
yeah, you can, but it's just
it looks scary, man.
And then I got to see Tesseract live for the first time ever, and I was expecting that to be pretty decent, but I was completely fucking blown away.
Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. Obviously, I was expecting it to be technically very good, and with a good mix, it could be quite powerful. But it was like a wall of sound. It was so well performed. It was so interesting with lighting and the rest. It actually blew my mind a little bit. They're incredible.
Yeah. Tesseract are proper professionals. I know I spoke briefly to you about it, but they show up on stage. There's no like kind of crazy interaction with the crowd. It's we are locking in. This is our work, and it's very, very professional. But honestly, it fucking works with the style of their music. It's so intense in certain moments. So yeah, no, Tesseract were sick. I was the biggest Tesseract fan in the world, and then finally seeing them after years, like they were like the first band I properly fell in love with, like on YouTube and doing this whole like metal shit. And seeing them live was like a lot of pressure. I was like, this is not going to live up to what I think it's going to live up to when they like surpassed it tenfold. So yeah, sick band live.
It's funny. I saw them 13 years ago when they opened for Protest the Hero. And like, I'm just hanging out with Dan, like talking to him. Like I have a photo with him, like super young emo burb. And like,
I need to see that picture. Oh my God.
I know, but like they were like locked in, but not like the way that you guys are making it be like, just like it's an actual show. They were just kind of like, it was like this tiny little dungeon that they were playing at, but times have changed.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of the way in which Meshuggah perform. It's very like, Meshuggah don't really get on stage. Well, from what I'm seeing them anyway, they don't get on stage and really like smile and interact with the crowd. It's very serious and intense, which is, I love. It's a performance,
Yeah, they put you in a bit of a trance-like state, some of those bands.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing. And another band I saw recently, which was like balls to the wall, high level production and delivery, was Spiritbox in London to 10,500 people.
Yeah.
And they completely smashed it. Like it was actually incredible. And they were supported by Periphery, who I technically saw live once before, but I'd had a lot of whiskey, so I didn't remember that one. So it felt like the first time I'd ever seen them live, and they were quite brilliant. And then Straight from the Path opened, and they're always fucking amazing live. So that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah,
That's a random
Spiritbox
ass, random show, isn't it? Gig wise, like in terms of the actual lineup, Spiritbox, Periphery, and who was that?
Stray
Spiritbox,
from the
Periphery, and
Path.
Stray. Yeah,
I think that kind of makes sense. Like it's
I mean,
they're different. Yeah.
They're all in the heavier leaning side of the rock universe, but you're right. Like there's metalcore, and then there's prog gent, and then there's hardcore. There's some bits where they kind of overlap. But I was talking to Misha from Peripheries, like Spiritbox are so fucking heavy live that they brought their heaviest songs for that tour. They're like, we want to try and step up to that plate. So it was pretty heavy. Periphery set. It was very good.
Yeah, it sounds unbelievable. When I saw them open for, it's like a venue called Budweiser Stage. It's like an outdoor venue, but like the way that Courtney was doing the growls and just Mike doing the pitch shifted, just like how in the world is this like how are you able to create this kind of sound? It like sounds like unworldly. It's crazy how heavy it is.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. And it was sort of hinted at when the first time I'd ever really properly come across Spiritbox was when I was seeing Courtney LaPlante do her like vocal playthroughs, if you want to call it, of songs. And that sort of hinted at how honed the craft was. It wasn't just like I'm just going to stand here and try and scream and stuff. It was so rounded and put together in a really incredible way. And Mike seems to be the same. Obviously, they had a band they were in before. So they have been doing the work for fucking years, and now they're in a position where there's a big audience. So like they're ready to smash out a great sound. Yeah, you know, newer bands are going to have a tougher time with that for sure. And in your head, in your bedroom, you're like, oh, I'll fucking rock this. But it takes a bit of seasoned understanding of how that's going to translate on a live stage and do that well.
Oh yeah, all the experience from my Wrestle a Bear ones and everything. Yeah, they were made for this. Here's a good segue. On a level of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the new Spiritbox album?
Steve?
I'm gonna give it a good 9. I'm gonna leave a little wiggle room just in cases, but like the No Loss, No Love song is currently my favorite of the year. I fucking love that song. I cannot get enough. It has supplanted Snow Lover, unfortunately, for Manuel. But yeah, I think it was just confusing, but so brilliant. I can't stop listening to it.
It's so good.
Yeah. I had like a proper moment when that last breakdown hit. I literally was like, I listen to music for a living, essentially. And it still was like, what the fuck have they done to this breakdown? Like, it was such a... I think the video helped as well with the like the explosion in the water. It just helped to deliver this like visceral boom. It was so good. Yeah. But yeah, number. Honestly, I'm so. This isn't my attempt at like a transition or a segue into Architect's album, but I am so tunnel visioned on Architect's album right now that I'm just like anything beyond that right now doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of curious to see how that all unfolds. But if I was to give a number. Right now, 7.58. I'm excited for it, but it will grow for sure. The singles have been unreal.
Yes, but yeah, we'll get to Architects in a minute. I want to hear Burb's kind of excitement for that one as well. But before we get to that, to your point, I think the video of that song has a big impact on how much that song fucking kicks. Yeah. You're right. Like there's the punch of the waves and all that stuff. The visuals are amazing, but also the moment when you get to the second verse and there's that sort of spoken word oddness. I think I was still going, I'm not sure about this. Do I like this? I don't really go for spoken word. But then when Courtney's doing this sort of like vibing thing, you kind of go, oh, I get it. That completely changed how I saw that part. I'm like, we're fucking vibing.
Yeah.
The video looks like a perfume commercial or something.
Yeah, all their videos have been so sick, to be fair. Oh, black and white as well.
Yeah,
like it's like anti-engagement doing black and white, no colors and shit, but it still works so well.
This is another reason why the band is as successful as they are. Like, obviously they got the budget and everything, but the way that they look and their costumes and their videos is just so theatrical. It's very like, it's very cinematic, where like a lot of the bands in our scene are just like, you know, just regular dudes wearing like regular plaid shirts or like band tees and playing in
a warehouse,
garage or warehouse, right? And but that's probably what they can afford, so I get it.
Yeah.
But like the Spiritbox visuals, they have the budget, but they also have the vision, and that's another thing that's just selling this band the identity and just who they are and how like yet they're so heavy, but still experimental enough. One thing that's really cool, like, was Fantano, where I'm not like the hugest fan of Fantano sometimes, to be completely honest. I'm a little bit indifferent to his reviews, but he did like did do like a reaction to the Spiritbox song. He's like, that's a banger. That was a banger. And like, I'm just thinking, I feel like he usually doesn't like the gent stuff or like modern metal. He does not like the production modern metal. And for him to say like some of these songs are bangers and stuff, I feel like the metalcore scene is getting more respected. That's something that I've been seeing lately. I feel like online, we're going to talk about the WWE soundtrack, or maybe we could talk about it now, but like a whole bunch of metalcore songs are on that soundtrack. Like, I feel like metalcore is just getting respected again. Like in the 2000s, man, it was everywhere, right? Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium and stuff. But like now I feel like the whole genre, people are liking it for what it is, and rather than just like, you know, people like Fantano who complain about the production and everything. Like, no, this is just the way it is. It sounds, and people are loving it. They're at the Grammys too, so I don't know. It's just been a cool thing. I don't know if you guys have kind of noticed that.
I think that yes, I think so. The visibility of it is massive, but it is taking bands like Spiritbox to make that happen.
Yep.
Like it's them kind of pushing the boundaries. I enjoyed something that Courtney said in a recent interview. I think it was that, like, you can never guarantee that your next song or next release will be commercially better than your previous. So like actually striving for that is not something they're interested in doing. What they can try and control is, can it be artistically more interesting than our previous? And that's what they strive for. And they're like, that's how they see the album that's coming out. Like, at the very least, whatever happens with it, they feel like it's artistically pushed themselves in a more interesting direction. And I can see that playing out, what they're doing with the music video choices and the songs themselves. And I fucking love the fact that they've not gone the radio rock route. And I say this as someone who loves radio rock as well, but they could, and everyone before them would just go, well, we've got a big platform. How big can we get? You know, like, let's go for a big, you know, catchy chorus. Jaded worked really well, but they've just leaned in so much harder into the fucking heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that really, the scene needs to be very grateful to them for that, because that's a huge, huge win.
Exactly. It's those bands that are helping get more respect for our overall scene too. But like on a level of like hypeness for me, I might have a hot take that this is probably the most hyped I am for a Spiritbox since the singles EP. Like even Eternal Blue, when it came out, like I loved Holy Roller and stuff, and Constance is fucking a masterpiece too. But Circle With Me, you know, it's not really my thing too much, to be completely honest.
I love that song.
I know.
I think it's still my favorite song by Spiritbox.
Oh, not me, man. But these new songs are showing the variety. I love the look. It's something creepy, and just the visuals and everything. Like, I'm more hyped for this than the Fear of Fear, the Rotoscope EP, and even like Eternal Blue. So I'm probably a 9.
But that's scary, because if the expectation's that high,
I know,
there's a long way you could fall.
I know.
Yeah. No, just to your point as well, bro, about like metalcore getting a lot more attention. I think metal in general just feels, it's very hard to see it from our perspective, or at least from my perspective. I can't speak for you guys, but when you're so deeply involved in it, it's very hard to see like the grand like landscape of everything going on. But
yeah, just
from like a very anecdotal position, like I've got friends that when I started doing metal reactions, they were like, what the fuck are you listening to? Like, it was, I'll never forget one time when I was listening to CUNT Crusher by Infant Annihilator on Spotify. Like, just, I don't even know if I was intentionally listening to it, but it was when you could like link your, I think it was Discord. Yeah, it's not on Discord you can see. So one of my friends sent it into my group chat of non-metalheads of like 15 blokes. And it was like, Drew, what the fuck are you listening to? And I was just like, like I was still in that like phase where I was like getting into metal, and I was like, oh, there's no coming back from this. But to caveat all of that, there's a few of those lads now that I've got fully listening to like certain prog bands and shit, and like they're getting into certain metal tracks. Now they'll never call themselves metalheads, but they've got like progressive tastes. I'm like, you literally like prog music. There's a lot of tracks that I've sent you guys that are like, more of this please. And I'm like, what is going on? So that's a very like anecdotal experience where I feel like a few years ago that would have never been something that I don't think I would have had enough bands in my catalog to send them that I know wouldn't be a nice middle ground between what they listen to and what like I listen to. But I feel like there's just so many options now. There's like your Sleep Tokens, your Bad Omens. But like I'm talking like Timed Evaluator. I'm sending certain tracks by like Timed Evaluator to my friends, and they're like loving them, and it's like, what's going on here, you know? But yeah, I think metal in general is definitely taking a rise.
I think you mentioned two of the bands there, but Sleep Token and Bad Omens are also significant influences on this whole thing because it's bringing in a new audience. And by doing that, you expand the total quantity of the audience that's available. So that's definitely a thing that's happened there.
It's literally just... Sorry, we'll go.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, it's literally just so much more accessible to the average person as well. Before, if you wanted to listen to metal music and you're just an average person who doesn't actually like metal music, there was never really any opportunity for metal music to be like rammed down your throat. But now if you're scrolling on TikTok and you're somewhat inclined to listen to like alternative music, your For You page is literally designed to be like, if I put out a video, it's going to send it to, like, if I put out a metal music video on my TikTok, it's going to be sent to like 200-300 random people, like just randomly. And then it will decide based on their engagement, obviously how far it goes, and then it will snowball. So it's like constantly sending it to people that maybe wouldn't have even wanted that content. And then like, that sounds decent. And then, you know, so.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think like it's more metalcore rather than metal as a whole that is like getting more respected, because like in metal, like I feel like a lot of the traditional metalheads who like often they're kind of elitist because anything that's like kind of modern or breakdowny or poppy they can't get into, but like metalcore I feel like bridges the gap between rock music too, right? So that's where it's a lot more accessible. That's why I like the soundtrack to WWE was like, to me that's such big news, because like for people that are for people that are out of the loop, Spiritbox is on it, House of Protection is on it, Gojira, Architects is on it, Knock Loose. Like it's only like 20 tracks, probably less, but like majority of it is like metalcore, except for like Gojira, but like it's metalcore and like House of Protection. Anyway, but the point is,
still, man, they've got a great fucking team of PR folks. They've gone from nothing to like on the WWE soundtrack. Holy shit! They're about to be featured on an Architect song. Jesus.
Yeah, their music is
I've seen that today. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Because the song is coming out tomorrow. They're dropping another
at the time
song.
of this recording. Yeah,
at the time of this recording. Yeah, good shout out. But yeah,
House of Protection or Architects? Sorry,
Architects is dropping another song tomorrow.
What are they doing?
Featuring House of Protection. Because clearly there's the Jordan Fish link, because Jordan Fish produced House of Protection and Architect. So he just went, boys, let's do a song.
I need to speak to Architect's marketing team. Every single release is making me less excited. Stop doing it.
Dude, bro.
Black Hole is perfect. Just end.
Drew, I saw your video and you said that this is anti-hype. I'm like, that's the best way to put it. And I'm like, I was so hyped for this record. And then I heard the new song, Everything Ends. I'm like, this actually made me a lot less hype for the new album. But Steve, I'm sure Steve could add. Yeah, Steve loved it.
I really, really liked it. Now, I don't know whether my enjoyment of it was slightly cooked by the fact that I wasn't as overwhelmed with some of the other songs on the Classic Symptoms album when they went to, going for a bit more subdued, a bit more pop kind of angle. I didn't think they quite landed that somehow. But this version of them doing a more kind of pop sort of song, it fucking crushed. I thought it was so good. I thought the melodies were fantastic. The production was really tidy. It is a great song from start to finish. I love it. And also thinking about an album coming up, I think that will give the sort of energy waves of Journey throughout a record that wouldn't be lended to by just having a bunch of Black Hole-like bangers, which I don't hate as a concept because I love the Make Them Suffer album, which was all bangers. But I think given the Architects have that itch they want to scratch, I think this is the best we could hope for, in my personal opinion. I've listened to that song a bunch since. I think it's great. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you saying it's a good song. I think it's a good song. But the decision to release it on the Monday of album week just felt odd. I was like, okay. It's because it's not like you said, it's not a banger song. And the context of the album makes massive sense. It's a song that, like, okay, by the definition, maybe is like a banger, like Black Hole.
Yeah, I guess.
But it comes directly after Black Hole. So on the album, I'm excited to hear that in the context. But I just think I had to like tell myself that when I was listening to it, because I was like, this is a single they're releasing to build hype.
But I think you're making this up potentially. They might be releasing it in a different vein to be like, don't expect a full album of fucking Black Holes, because then you'll be disappointed if you hear an album that has songs like this on it. Who fucking knows? But I don't really, I mean, we're different in this way. I think me, from the two of you, I don't care so much about albums. Like, I don't mind if the album comes out and I've heard
Yeah.
80% of the songs. I want good songs. And if they collectively form a nice journey of an album arc, then hooray. But I just want good songs.
Yeah, I just have to disagree with you guys where I think the song was painfully average.
Yeah, I seen your. I gasped when I seen your
It's
5.5.
so average. It's like like the thing is like I love Bring Me the Horizon Ammo. That's one of the best records that Bring Me the Horizon's done, and that's a hot take. See,
that is a lava
Dave,
hot take.
Ollie knows how to write a damn good hook vocally. Whereas I have a problem with Sam sometimes where his hooks are just so like forced. I don't know, they just don't ever like maybe a little generic. And this I'm like one of the biggest Architects fanboys too. Like the Here and Now, I don't know if Drew, if you've heard that album yet, but there's a lot of, okay, well the clean singing on that record like was amazing. Like I love Sam's voice in that, and then Daybreaker when they do soft songs on that, fucking love it. So I love Architects when they do their soft songs, but that new song to me was just so generic and forgettable.
I would agree that it is on the generic spectrum. However, I thought they crushed it, and that is important. I think you can write like there's very generic pop songs that absolutely bang. Like I think of an example here. I don't know, like "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. Right? That's a very simple pop song, but it's a fucking banger. Nope.
I don't know.
Let Steve die on that hill.
That is an undeniable banger.
No, I hear you. Yeah, my 14-year-old female cousin enjoys it as well, Steve. But
music's for everyone.
I'm joking, Steve. I've got guilty pleasures as well.
I'm not guilty about it. It's a fucking banger.
Should be. No, I'm only joking. Like, someone described that as like, seeing it in my comments and had a good chuckle over it. It was like, this song is painfully mid, but I still like it. I was like, yeah.
I don't see it as painful. It's gloriously mid. I think that's fucking mid.
It's just like a way of emphasizing the midness of it. It's not painful. It's a solid track, but to be honest, my main thing, and it's not, I don't care. Like, I'm going to listen to the album anyway, and I'm probably going to enjoy it. But my main thing is just the decision to drop it on Monday. And they're doing another song. Is this happening? I didn't know about this. There's another one tomorrow.
Yep.
How many tracks
are put on their story? They're releasing 6 songs, and for 11 track album, I'm not too sure, it could be 12 tracks, but still, Drew, like I think it's some of the silliest or dumbest marketing, to be honest. Like that song, maybe I'm completely wrong, maybe in Spotify numbers it's appealing to the pop fan base and they're doing something smart there, but in terms of who they were initially targeting, which is like the metalcore people and the people that want heavies, Black Hole, Curse, everything's just been heavy, and then the one song is just like, oh, who is this for now? Like it just, but like, don't get me wrong. I mentioned in my review, like I love variety in the album. So maybe in the context of the record, the song is not going to be so average to me. It might actually sound good, but Steve, how many songs did you see?
12 songs apparently.
Yeah. So half the album, kind of standard these days, isn't it?
We don't know though if some of those might be interludes. I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
They don't tend to do interludes, so maybe, but who knows? They're clearly trying some new things out, so we don't know.
Yeah, but I think I'm hopeful for the song tomorrow. Like a house protection feature is going to be fun.
Yeah,
that has a lot of potential to really ramp hype back up again. So maybe they're onto something here. Like, let's not speak too soon. This is probably going to release tomorrow when the song is probably already out. So we might look stupid right now. So just let's say that.
We never look stupid. Wait,
never. Never.
I don't know about me, but they also have a music video for it too, Drew. Like it's an actual like, proper single. So why they dropped this song on a random like Monday, I guess, is kind of weird. But again, they're probably doing it to appeal to a different demographic rather than just metalcore people. That could be
it's a radio rock pop song. It's perfect for the radio. So like maybe.
If they were doing that, wouldn't they do like a music video that would suit that sort of an audience demographic of interest? Like a visualizer isn't what the more casual person would want to.
Maybe this is purely a strategy for streaming. Maybe.
I'm not the biggest fan of singles with visualizers. I'd nearly rather not have a single.
Or they drop like the song with the visualizer, then a music video like 3 months later.
I'm such a snobby prick, I'm doing it. Well.
Guys, if I was doing the marketing for these labels, I'd tell them what to do.
One single that looks like Black Hole and then leave it. And then we'll fill in all the blanks from there.
But what if more is better?
No, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking shit, to be honest. I'm just playing devil's advocate from every potential possible. I don't even know what my own fucking opinion is. I'm just excited for the album. But what's your favorite singles been so far out of the five? Five now.
Black Hole.
Black Hole.
Yeah.
Black Hole. Okay.
But it's close, honestly. Everything Ends. What was it called? Everything Ends. Yeah, that's pretty high on my list. I really, really
I have a
dug
hot
it.
take.
But actually, Curse was a fucking brilliant song as well. I think I prefer that to Whiplash. Whiplash was good.
What's the hot
Okay.
take, Drew?
I think Black Hole is. I haven't really thought this one through yet, so just let me get it out there, and then I'll deal with the consequences after I say it. Black Hole is one of the best songs Architects have ever written.
I thought that was going to be spicier. If you said it was the best, then I'd be
I think
getting my
it's
pitchfork
top
out.
5 potentially.
Wow.
That might be a little bit more hot.
That's getting hotter. That's getting hotter.
Okay.
Yeah, if
I
you do
haven't
top
really thought about it. I'm gonna potentially make some form of video around this because I don't even actually know. They've got such a ridiculous discography. But having heard their full discography over the past 2 months, they're all fresh in my mind. And Black Hole's fucking unreal.
Now, I've got some questions. So when you're saying best, what are the combination of attributes you're rating that for? How you felt listening to it? How you can do
honestly, just stripping it back and making it very simple. Just like, I know there's obviously a bit of recency bias there, but like if you ask me to pick out an Architect song right now that I'd rather loop for like the next week straight, there is obviously recency bias, but I haven't been listening to Architects for like 10 plus years, so it's not as if all the other singles have like really had time to like marinate with me. So like Black Hole is up there with just not even going by any particular, solo or anything. But I think it's a full package. There's like so many little like groovy moments in it that I love. Chorus is, I think, my favorite chorus I've heard this year. The guitar solo was the only moment from all of the singles that I've felt like an emotional, like soulful connection to Architect's music of all the singles. I've enjoyed most of the singles, but I haven't really felt like emotionally attached to the band in any way, shape, or form. Like lyrically, conceptually, but the solo was just like chills, got me in my feels a bit. So I love that. Breakdown was okay. It's probably the most average part of the song in my opinion, but I just think it's great.
Can I mention?
I so want to talk about this more. Go on, Barb.
Oh, I was just going to say some songs that I enjoy a little bit more than Black Hole would be Broken Cross, Naysayer, Gone with the Wind, Gravity and Match Made in Heaven, Early Grave, Follow the Water, Doomsday.
All right, you're showing
like, those are all songs
stop talking.
I'll put above.
No,
but
sure,
Black, like I saw Architects recently actually live, and it's interesting to see the crowd singing all the new songs, and there's a lot less older Architects fans like me, so they're really pulling in like a whole new demographic of fans. And I want the band to like succeed no matter what, because I really love the members and I still enjoy their music, but they definitely are like two different bands now. They're like more of a rock anthem band, a little bit more Octane Radio, where in the past they were a little bit more emotional metalcore. So fortunately, I like Black Hole, but it still doesn't come close to the older stuff for me.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that we had a discussion about this before where we were wondering if Architects wasn't, this is not with the recent singles, this is before this, if Architects isn't hitting the same way as they used to, because there's less of an emotional kind of link and angle to it, and that's kind of what made it work. But then what's interesting about that is I didn't feel emotionally connected to Everything Ends, but I fucking loved it. So for me, actually, the emotional thing doesn't have to be there. It's really well written songs. What's interesting about Black Hole for me is I think that is actually a very generic song, but I fucking love it. I think it's executed brilliantly. It is very like, not unlike Seeing Red, it is metalcore by numbers, but done to like 12. It is absolutely punched, brilliantly put together, but I don't feel much kind of, I don't know, emotive soul within it. I mean, maybe you got that from the guitar solo, but other than that, it doesn't necessarily have that. And I'm just thinking maybe that's actually not needed. There's something in the songwriting which can hit without having to have the emotional tinge of, things in the past.
I feel like structurally it's one of the more less generic sounding metalcore songs that they've written. Like the breakdown at the end, the guitar solo, like they really kind of flex the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus stuff, which they've been kind of doing a lot lately. So
Yes, I suppose I'm not talking just in terms of the song structure itself. I'm talking about it is more akin to it is a collection of riffs, surprising riffs, but riffs that have good fucking guttural and high scream vocals and a very catchy chorus over the top of it. It's not like a Journey song. It's kind of like bang from the start and you rock along the way.
yeah, it's like the beats that they do, like here's the chorus with that hook, and here's like the galloping rhythm and the low gutturals, like a lot of the metalcore cliches that you kind of hear. So I hear you in that aspect.
Yeah. Again, going back to like the video aspect of it, the video obviously fucking massively helped.
Yeah.
When I hear the song now, I'm like imagining the solo being like played in the air in a tornado, like in the middle of the sea, and I'm like, this is so cool. So I'll never know what I'll think of the song without the video, because it's just So it's kind of a nothing argument, really. But it's I don't know, man. Like I've actually got like a playlist of my favorite Architects tracks here, and there's a collection of songs from all the albums, to be honest. But yeah, I get it, man. I see both sides of the argument. I think people are going way too hard on the band. Like if you're that pressed about the band at this point, like they've been doing this style of music since For Those That Wish to Exist, which was literally during the pandemic. So like, if you're still surprised that they're making music like this, it's kind of more of a you thing at this point. It's just like, if you're still going out of your way to complain about it, the old albums still exist.
Yeah.
Post Tom, Animals is still like one of the best Architects.
Animals is great.
Yeah,
that's a fucking great
fucking
song.
banger.
Yeah.
But
I really like the For Those That Wish to Exist album. I think that's a very solid album, personally.
Yeah. I re-listened to that like 2 days ago. Well, I'd heard all the singles, but I'd never actually sat down and listened to the full album. So I just said, fuck it, I'm already doing all the other albums. Let's just do a full sit through with this. And I ended up coming out with like pretty much the same tracks that I had heard already. It was like Animals, Black Lungs, Dead Butterflies, Meteor. Loved all those tracks.
Impermanence with Winston McCall is fucking awesome. Goliath with Simon Neil is so fucking good.
I'm not into that song either. Like,
it just felt like the trademark from the like 2 features I've heard from Winston McCall. It already felt played out. Like I heard that him feature with North Lane, and then it was kind of like the same. Winston, we have a breakdown. Come in. It was kind of like one of those things. But that for me is like one of the more painfully mid tracks on that album. So there's just
I think Meteor is a bit
for different blokes, Steve.
Drew, like we have like the hot take though. People love that song with Winston. Like,
fuck. Okay.
Yeah, that's like a fan favorite, but I can't get into it too. Like, I like the Simon Neil Goliath feature more. There's something about his like higher pitched scream that just feels more intense.
Yeah. I just felt like there was just a big gap in like the start of the album. I thought was really sick. I added Giving Blood to my playlist, which was one I hadn't heard, and I thought that was sick. Well, it was good. It was playlist worthy for me anyway. And then it just felt like there's a big like gap in the middle of the album. It just feels kind of like there's like a lot of hollow songs in there for me.
I need to see your reaction to Daybreaker.
I'm gonna post it literally as soon as we're finishing this podcast. I have it ready to go. I'm gonna post it on YouTube, and so I won't spoil it too much for you, but it may have suffered from a case of everyone loves this album so much and they all tell me that I should love it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna be mad at me. But I thought Broken Cross was better. It just feels like Sam hadn't found his voice at that point in Daybreaker, because I know what he sounds like now, and I just feel like his singing voice, this was like the first proper attempt at like loads of singing on an album, and I was kind of like, riffs are sick though. Again,
I'm worried. I'm worried about the avalanche of comments about come my way asking for these. I've not heard Daybreaker or anything previous.
Yeah, that's most Architects fans though. Even like people in my YouTube comments, I just get the general sense they haven't actually listened to their discography, because the band's kind of had an identity crisis for the longest time. Like Drew, like you've heard them now. They kind of went all over the place. Mathcore, post-hardcore, a little genty metalcore, and now like more octane radio rock. Like, but Daybreaker, like I think Steve, you'll like that record. It's a lot more singing than like Drew. Like for people saying like this is the best record, like I don't know. Hollow Crown to me is just fucking relentless. I love that record. So the fact that you dug Hollow Crown, dude, oh man, makes me so happy, because I feel like that record's a little bit like underrated. Like people who love it, like me, really talk about it, but still a lot of people don't know it because it's mathcore. It's really fucking intense.
Yeah,
bro. Fall to Water and Early Grave. That song's like my gym album since I was like 19 years old.
Yeah. No, it was some like I got some. I wasn't really doing it to like pack my playlist full of songs I knew I was gonna love. I kind of just went in as like a history lesson on Architects. I was kind of like, look, people are always talking about their older albums. I've really enjoyed the middle portion of the discography with the trinity of insane albums that is Lost Forever, Lost Together, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, and Holy Hell. Fucking loved those albums. But even when I was doing those albums, there was never really many comments for like go back and listen to Daybreaker. So I kind of knew in the back of my mind that it's not held to the same regard as the three albums I just mentioned, but it is still like a popular album. It was more Broken Cross that people were excited. I seen more Broken Cross, Hollow Crown.
Okay.
But yeah, Daybreaker, Black Blood, track number 12. The riff on that fucking track sent me west. Man. It's so sick.
That song's a B-side too. The album actually ends with Unbeliever.
Yeah, I seen that. I had a big problem with the deluxe version of it. After Black Blood, it just really fell off from there. I was like, oh goodness, this is not Architects at all.
Wait, so that means if you've listened to the deluxe version, you've actually heard your first Thrice song? Because of Dust and Nations, the last track is actually a Thrice cover.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right. Okay, right. Well,
yeah, you didn't like it.
I just think I was kind of fatigued by the album at that point. It was the longest album in their discography up until this point, 58 minutes. So I wasn't vibing too much with Sam's singing voice. And it was just it was evidence that they were like, obviously hindsight is so obvious now that the next albums that followed, they went on an absolute rampage with the three next albums, but it did feel like they're almost there. And then the next album was Lost Forever, Lost Together, which I absolutely love. So, yeah.
Well, it's because he's singing. It's like kind of the emo style that he's going for. It's very post-hardcore. Steve, can you get into like the emo, more high-pitched, like whiny kind of vocals?
Yeah. I enjoy some songs by Sleeping with Sirens, which is pretty up there. So.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam really hones in on like the emo kind of vocals, and then I think when Lost Forever, Lost Together, he leans more towards like these screamy, singy. And that album just changed the whole metalcore game, where every vocalist is now trying to do the sing scream thing. And also like the more like the riffs too. Like this is where Architects really became like a band that everyone kind of copied.
Yeah, that album's ridiculous as well. Just riffs. I think Lost Forever, Lost Together for me is like insane riffs. Then All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us is one of my favorite albums in general. Just song wise, there's not many songs that I'll individually go back to. But I feel like the whole album, just from start to finish, just has this aura about it. It's just so sick. And then bleak. Holy Hell. Yeah, it's bleak as fuck, man. And Holy Hell is, with the context of Tom Searle, I believe that was the first album they released after Tom passed away, correct?
Yeah.
And he had like written a lot of the songs on that. So it was kind of like from the perspective, it was like from the perspective of someone who had passed away, writing the riffs, knowing that they were going to pass away. So it was like, and all the lyrics and shit. I think that might be my favorite Architects album now that I think of it, really. Some of the tracks on that shit are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Talking about ridiculous, Burb, I finally listened to MIRAR.
Oh. Let's hear it, Steve.
I was there for that.
Okay. I already know.
Like halfway through it on Twitch, but go ahead.
Look, I'm going to say MIRAR's not my favorite thing in the world, so it's okay. Sure. Go on.
But it's just because like the two, you're like, oh yeah, you're not going to like this at all. It wasn't completely not for me, but I gave it a halfway decent. I think there's good ideas in there, and I think sometimes it lands. The groove makes sense with some of the electronics that are going in there. I like that there's a lot of electronic stuff within it, but God, I'm always just hurting for a vocal, obviously. Yeah. And also sometimes it just felt like we're looping for looping. I don't know why where are we going? Why are we going there? It didn't feel cohesive. It felt like some folks in a bedroom just going like, oh, fuck it, let's just throw this in there as an experiment, and then who cares? So it didn't completely plug into my nervous system, but it had potential.
Yeah.
Their EP, like I kind of said, like it's kind of clueless in direction, and people didn't really like that. And like, no, this is like one of the most forward-thinking pieces of music ever. I'm like, no, like the thing is, like you can literally chop up the music pieces. Like if we're editing and trying to like put the songs together in different ways. There's so many ways that you can mismatch it and the music will still sound kind of the same. That's how I feel about their music. It's just like a little bit all over the place. You could take this one part from the song, put it in this other song, and then it'll still flow because everything just is random guitar ideas. So it's really cool. But the new record, like, I feel like is a lot better. The introduction to like dubstep and like other things was just really refreshing in this very convoluted like fall space. So I thought that was sick. Drew, you liked it, right?
Yeah, man. Like, I don't go into it like, I'm not oblivious to the fact that it's a very like jarring album for the majority of people. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to say like this is something I listen to regularly, but I do think there's an element of you have to kind of throw away your conventional music listening like chimp brain, or actually you need to actually almost insert a different type of chimp brain into your head when you're listening to it and just go real primal with it. It's like, I'm not listening to it to fill my playlist full of tracks, if this makes sense. And what I actually wanted to say, Steve, as well, was that I think you're doing yourself a disservice a lot of the time by listening to these as singles. It was the same. I see you dropped the track to reacting to Loathe, and I know you don't love doing the album thing, you even said it, but you are doing albums like that a disservice, I think, by listening to them out of context. I do think that.
I could understand that. Certainly there will be artists out there who will be writing songs with in mind, knitting them together as an album. Yeah. And I totally get how if you just get a slice of it, you can't see the whole pie. I understand that. But if you are going to say, this is the start of a song, this is the end of the song, I'd like the idea that it makes sense living on its own as well. But that's just, I mean, maybe that's a preference thing.
Yeah, it's just a pure, like, I don't think you listening to the MIRAR album will change your opinion. Like, I'm not trying to say that. Yeah. I just think you are missing a certain kind of like atmosphere and tone that's being set up from the offset. It's kind of like you're just being dropped into middle of this storyline, and it's like, to me, it feels like you're watching a movie, and it's like we're 50 minutes in, go. You'll still figure out what's going on eventually, but it's kind of like missing context.
Sure. And I think it sounds like, certainly from the comments as well, I need to hear the album as a whole. But also, like, it's not like I chose to do a song. That's all I've heard. So all I've got is that. I mean, like, if I'm trying to introduce you to Tool, what I want to do is say, like, sit down and listen to fucking Lateralis from start to finish. But I can't. So I'm like, all right, here's a song. See what you make of that.
Yeah. But that's where I think it's just, it is a different hat you have to put on almost when you listen to certain albums. It's kind of like the way I listen to Viljarta with the like Mastad and Vat, and that was like the last album that I kind of had all of these people like reaching out, and I think I was just open-minded going in. Now going back, I don't really like that album anymore, I'm not gonna lie. It's still revolutionary, but it's not an album I really go back to. It's got some sick songs in it, but it's so exhausting to listen to from start to finish. It's similar, in the same way that MIRAR do it.
Yeah, and like when you were bringing up MIRAR, like I'm more invested in Loathe because like when you made that Loathe video, I thought you already checked out the album because like I know you're not like big on Loathe, so I just assumed you checked out the album. And you're like, it's not for you. But I want to say, like, when I listened to Loathe, like there was like this one song called White Hot that I really liked, but then they were dropping singles for their album, and I'm like, these songs are cool, they're weird, I like them, but they're kind of, I don't know, it's cool, but I'm not really getting it. And then I decided to like check out the album, and then I'm just like kind of mind blown. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And then maybe for you, if you do check out the album, it could be like a little bit like 156 Silence. Like once you kind of like listen to it,
right?
That's a good like show.
And then it might just kind of click, because another thing to keep in mind, if you do check out the album, it was written like 2020, or it came out in 2020, and so like that they kind of introduced the shoegaze elements into the metalcore scene, because before Loathe, there wasn't a lot of shoegaze, but now many bands are kind of doing it, so it might not have that same shock factor like as it did in 2020. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But that album's fucking nuts. It's like one of the few albums I give 10 out of 10 to. The only other album recently in the past 5 years that I give 10 out of 10 to is Take Me Back to Eden. Yeah. So that's those two albums that I think are just fucking in the scene.
I mean, I do say when I was setting up before reacting to the song is that I'm aware of Loathe, but not really their studio tracks, because I've seen them live a couple of times. They opened for, I want to say, The Devil Wears Prada, and I think Straight from the Path. I want to say, but I think it, like, whatever the sound was, it just didn't really land somehow, and it was kind of, it was very shoegazy. Which, if you don't know the song, seeing it live, you're just like, it didn't really work. So I can see that was an unfortunate kind of introduction, perhaps. And I'm now, when I've heard two songs of theirs now, There was the New Phases in the Dark, and then on the Twitch stream earlier this week, it was Screaming. And it is really interesting to hear them and actively listen to all the details. There's so much interesting stuff going on there. And sometimes it fucking lands. Holy shit. At other times I'm like, why are we doing this? So maybe, the album might make some sense of that potentially. But yeah, it sounds like that's my homework.
Yeah. it will do really, like, it will be worth your while doing it as well. It's such a classic, like, album in the metalcore, like progressive metalcore space to check out. And I kind of like, when you leave an album for a while and then people keep talking about it for so long, and you kind of, I don't know if it's a me thing, but sometimes I have this like built-in defense mechanism. When I see so many people saying an album is really good, I start to be like, is it really this good? I don't know if it's just one of these things where it's like, oh, people are starting to find this band enjoyable now. I have to dip. But I was like, Loathe are going to have a hard time bringing out their next album because people are like so obsessed with this band that it's going to be hard to top the last one. But I just went back and listened to I Let It In one day when I was cleaning the house, and I was like, yeah, this deserves all of the credit that it gets. Even to this day, it's still unique. After like 5 years, it still has something that I haven't really heard any other bands. It's actually funny that you mentioned 156 Silence. I do hear like a sonic comparison in just when they go really dark and just the overall atmosphere. Funny that I didn't love that album. That's another album I do need to return to because everyone loves that album.
Spin that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's one of my favorite albums I've heard in the last couple years. It's fucking incredible, but it needs to seep into your pores slowly.
Yeah. Here's a nerdy fact for you, Drew. The Loathe, I Let It In, Took Everything. They're heavily influenced by the Silent Hill 2 composer, or the Silent Hill composer.
Heard that. I don't know where, but I was aware of that. I think, I don't know where the fuck I heard that.
The soundtrack to that game's so cool. But
it wouldn't have meant much to me when I'd heard the album originally, but now that I've played the game and shit, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's just like the atmosphere kind of thing and the weird dark sense. That's
what like separates really, really memorable albums a lot of the time, is like a theme. Like their album starts with the track theme. So it makes sense. They're clearly trying to define a theme, and it's just a memorable like ambience and atmosphere that like sits with me more than how good the actual songs are. That's why I love doing album reactions so much. And that's maybe there's the difference, because I know, Steve, you saying that you prefer singles.
It's not that I prefer them, it's I don't need songs to fit together on an album to enjoy them. I could see it as a playlist of 12 fucking great songs, the same or different. Or I can be like, all right, if this album is designed as a full album thing, then I will go in with that in mind. But I'm kind of, I'm more keen on songs than I am a connected thematic concept. I kind of don't really have the patience for it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a great theme and the songs are shit, I'm out. It has to have both to a certain degree. But the theme, I think that's what separates the really like amazing, memorable long-term albums, is when there's like a memorable theme or like a storyline that goes into it that just makes you feel something more than just this song is sick,
Wow.
You know what band has like a theme, but also like just great collection of songs? Sleep Token.
I was also going to try and segue.
Okay, yeah, we got a segue. I'm like, how are we not talking about this yet?
Yeah, we're like,
this is one of the biggest news.
Yeah. Absolutely a band where you go like, they're so good, and now everyone's catching on to it. Like, are they that good? Like, am I just kind of in my head? Did I like it because they were small? And now, but like you go, and I get worried every time they're going to release a new single or an album. I'm like, no, what if this is the one where I don't like it? And it's like, actually, so far, it's just never happened. And at some point, you got to go, I think Vessel is just an incredibly good songwriter. And even if he comes out with a song that I'm like, I didn't really connect with that as much, it'll still be a brilliant piece of work. Because I don't think he would stop working on something until he thought, you know what? I'm happy with the way this thing is orchestrated. I'm good. And like that, I've never been disappointed with. So I'm not actually nervous about what they're going to do next. I'm sure it'll be different. I'm sure it'll have some similar kind of Sleep Token-y moments in it, and I'm sure whatever it is will be captivating.
Yes. Shall we provide context for maybe people who are not familiar that the reason why we're just randomly shoehorning Sleep Token in is that
of course
we do think that they're going to drop new music. We think it's coming quite soon, or at least there's going to be some kind of obvious announcement.
There's no way they're not dropping new music.
Oh yeah. Like
I thought it was merch. had to flip my table. I was like,
Oh,
wow.
they're great. They're great at selling merch. Fucking
They are.
props to them for that. But listen, like they've signed to RCA Records last year. They're not going to do that unless RCA are going to get theirs. They're going to get songs to sell. So
For sure.
Yeah.
they have to. Like,
I said that on my video too, but like the stars are like pretty much lying with what the rumor was with Download Festival and them dropping an album before Download Festival and now them doing the teasers. Now they finally have a TikTok. It's kind of funny how they actually finally have a TikTok page, considering that the band blew up on TikTok, but now like yeah, and like the teaser, like dude, I love the attention to detail with everything. There's like some cool connections with like a lot of the pink colors that they're using and in the graphic, but then like when they play Euclid oh god, can I talk? Euclid Live, it'd be like purple lighting or pink purple lighting, just like the same colors. Like I don't know, that could be a stretch, but some people are like
connecting. Other people are saying like when they finish a gig, they'll put on "I Just Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston, and it's like, oh, this album. It seems like it might be. It's gonna be called, we dance together or something forever.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to believe that Vessel is like thinking like a year or two ahead, right? Like
He might have written the next 3 albums. Like,
I've heard
who
rumors that
fucking knows?
yeah. Like the band is so smart marketing wise that I feel like they're just ahead of the game and what they're thinking, so or what they're doing. So like they could definitely have planned this out for probably 2 years or so.
I've seen like people, there also is definitely an element of people like confirmation bias of people making these connections that don't actually exist. It's like, oh, this did it, but that's part of the fun, and they know that's going to happen as well, and they just kind of like drop a little like breadcrumb, and they just let the internet go insane for like weeks.
It's like dropping a small rabbit into a river full of piranhas, just like just fucking snapping at it.
But it is really fun. Like you can take the very like cynical route, which I've seen a lot of over the last week or so with some of the content that I posted about it, where people are just like, this is so corny and cringe, and it's just like, look, you can like double down on that and be that person. But I've had so much fun just getting involved just like allowing myself to become a little child again and be like really excited about something, because there's very few moments with like album releases where you get to like experience something like this. I'm a massive Sleep Token fan. I wear that on my sleeve.
Choose joy.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's just a bit of fun, and like it's literally marketing at its absolute pinnacle. It's done so. I would say they sold out their merch, even though it was like maybe not directly intended to be a merch thing. The amount of traction their website got because of that, and then they trick people, it's not merch. Oh, but there's a code here. Go decipher this code and go to this place in the UK. It's so genius, and it's been so fun to like watch unfold.
I love lore in media in general. Like some people are like Star Wars fanatics or Lord of the Rings fanatics. Like I mentioned Silent Hill 2 earlier. Like that's a game that I'll like keep checking out like the storylines and all the hidden details. And like Sleep Token kind of doing this, like it brings out the nerd in me, like where I'm also loving all the theories and all the connections, and like also forcing you to learn some parts of history with the shepherd's inscription kind of thing. Like I never heard about this thing ever in my life, and now it's like one of the most toughest codes out there, like puzzles in the world that no one's been able to figure out. I'm like, I've never heard this in my life, and it's cool that Sleep Token's kind of like, I don't know, giving us a little bit of a history lesson in some way.
Yeah, if you really go down that sorry, go Steve.
Well, no,
if you really go down the rabbit hole, sorry, I put it in there, but if you go down the rabbit hole, it goes so much deeper. Like they have like their own language that people have decoded, like Sleep Token. I've seen some video where it was like they've actually used symbols over time that are like maybe inscripted on the vessel's like face mask and all this shit, and people have like literally, I think that's how they figured out some of the singles that were dropping for the last album. I think people have like figured that shit out based on like some inscriptions and shit. So it's a lot of detail put in behind the scenes.
Yeah, some hieroglyphs kind of stuff. Like I never kind of thought about that but that's probably true too. Like I believe it.
What's maybe surprising perhaps is that I don't really care about the lore at all.
That is surprising considering
I like that there is, because I like that it gives depth, for the fans to go a bit deeper who want to go deeper in the rest. But like I'm very happy for other people to dive into that. And if there's interesting nuggets they pull from it, I'm happy to hear those things. But I'm not going like, oh fuck, let me look at the source code of the web page and like, there's a fucking different. I'm like, I care about the music. That is actually almost the start and the end of it. I don't really care about the lore and the rest of it. I care about what are the songs? What do they sound like? What are the melodies? What is the production? What are the lyrics? That's the stuff I give a fuck. Everything else, it's fun. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad it's helping them get a larger audience and creating all kinds of chatter online. But like, I'm very happy for the likes of Drew and yourself, Burb, to do some videos about figuring some things out. What does it mean? I'm like, I'm just waiting for the song.
Steve, are you a big gamer?
I am a gamer, but I was brought up in the world of like Mega Drive and Nintendo Wii and like Nintendo 64. I wasn't into the deep, gaming bits and pieces. I'm more like I play for fun.
Okay. Like I'm a gamer. I'm like, I'm quite nerdy in that kind of regard too. So like, I don't know. I guess I just like love puzzle solving. I love games with like puzzles and stuff. So maybe that's what Sleep Token's kind of scratching that itch for me. Like, I don't know, Drew, do you feel that way at all? Or you're just like...
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, just to clarify, I haven't deciphered shit. I'm just letting other people do the work. And I'm
that's what you got to do, yeah.
It's so interesting to see it unfold. And just to your point as well, Steve, with, like, not caring about the lore. I get it. Like, obviously, that's, like, a very, like... The lore is a spectrum of, like, okay, there's a little bit of lore here. Like, for example, it's like what we talked about, like, album themes and stuff. Like the callback in Euclid to like, obviously it being the ending of the album and the ending of a chapter. There's an element of enjoying the lore when you know that like, the night does not belong to God. Like the way they're linked and shit. Like that is lore built in through lyrics and shit like that. So that to me is a massive part as to why Euclid is such a beautiful song as well. Now again, going back to what we talked about, the song still has to be beautiful musically. But thematically and the lore behind it and knowing what this means in terms of the whole band, and that makes it.
There's storytelling which I enjoy, but at a fairly high level. So for example, the fact that they worship the deity of sleep and he is a vessel for I'm like, cool, nice, you have a backstory. I don't really doesn't really affect me one way or another, but I liked more the sonic callback of revisiting those chords and the melodies of that than I did going like, when Euclid, when I first heard that and he was going, the night belongs to you, and I just fucking lost my mind. It wasn't because I was like, because the first song 3 albums ago was the night does not belong to God, and this is kind of the answer to that question. It was more the power of the vocal delivery of that and the sentiment of whatever the fuck he's talking about. The night belongs to you was such a generous, didn't care about what it's connected to. I loved the impact of that moment in the song. That's what I get hyped about. And then later on I found out, actually, that was the name of the song that they had the callback to. The rest, that does elevate things to a bit. But the core of it, I just want the fucking songs. When's the single? Yeah. When's the next song?
Yeah, but that's what excites me about the lore. Like, it's just a big, like, it all ties, is that the lore is implying that there is new music, and the music is so good, so that's why I'm excited ultimately. It's not really because we're fucking traveling out to the UK to look at some stones, you know what I mean? Like, that's not it, but it is funny to see people, like, the Google reviews and shit on the actual, like, monument is so funny. It's so
I bet people have got on planes from, like, the States to, I bet they fucking have,
Oh my god, that's crazy.
But, like seeing real life places being, like, implemented into, like, music lore it's just cool. It is cool. The whole like fairy tale world of like you mentioned, the ancient deities and stuff. I don't know what that is. So it's like, but when there's actual like Pokemon Go, people are actually going around looking at things to find clues. That is what like triggers my brain a little bit.
Yeah, it's like like a treasure map or something.
Yeah, they've just turned the world into a treasure map. Where's it going to be next? Is there going to be people in New York walking around looking for shit?
Scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Yeah. But then when they do the music motifs and like do the callbacks, like, oh my god, I love that shit too. But barely any bands in this scene, like core, like prog metal, kind of do this kind of stuff too. And I think that's what makes Sleep Token so exciting. Like there's certain band,
apparently like Periphery do a bit of that.
Periphery, yeah, they do a lot of like callbacks in their music sometimes, but like
they do like kind of concept based albums that are like kind of sci-fi leaning and kind of like I guess not sci-fi.
Coheed and Cambria do some callbacky moments.
Yeah, like a lot of progger bands do it. Deer Hunter does it a lot too. But like I'm talking about like also like the lore too, right? The lore with like again the scavenger hunt thing too, the marketing. There's just so many, and then now saying that the mask or other images that they put out are like hieroglyphics and codes there. Like that could be a stretch, but whatever. I think that's still fucking cool. If there's a band that has that much detail where they're thinking of every single thing, is very, very cool rather than like most bands who just kind of like write music and just kind of, put it out there.
Yeah. And they're at a point now where they can probably just let a team look after all that lore stuff. They probably have a team that does the lore stuff, like, and then they just write all the music. I'd wonder how much involvement they even have at this point.
I would be surprised if Vessel wasn't involved in a lot of it.
Yeah.
He's probably not coding the website, but like he's probably sharing the ideas of here's how I want it to be. Here's the kind of concept things I think are interesting, and then maybe gets advisors to be like, we thought about maybe adding this aspect, cool or not cool, and then
it's exciting, man. It's exciting.
So exciting. Well, perhaps the next time we gather. Nah, it's been like 2 weeks. I do want to hear some new Sleep Token. It could be weeks yet. It could be midnight tonight. You don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing as well.
They dropped songs on Tuesday, didn't they? From Take Me Back to Eden, or was it?
I think it was was it a Thursday night and then a Friday night? It was wild, whatever it was. Yeah, it was 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think it was like a Tuesday and a Thursday or some shit. Oh no, because it was. I was literally editing. Yeah, I think it was back to back because I was editing my reaction for the chokehold.
Yep.
And then the start of my summoning video was literally like, okay, I'm just finishing the edit for this, and we're like, so we're going again. So
yeah,
you have to be on your toes.
Exciting time.
Oh yeah, Steve is going to be super fast because he's got his whole little button layout. It just zoom in.
I hope it's not midnight though. Again, like those are late. Those are late edits for a father of 2 young kids who get up in the morning, man. Yeah. That's tough.
And you can't not do it when Sleep Token drop. You have to just let's go. And it's hard to sleep after as well. It's exciting. Just let architects do their thing this week. Give us a break. There's going to be a lot of content to get to with everything dropping. So
not now.
Yeah, give us a week.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
It's Architects Week for sure.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thank you, lads. It has been lovely to catch up with you. There's plenty of exciting stuff that's happened recently and that's coming up with Architects and Sleep Token and Spiritbox. Basically, the 3 bands we talked about the most in this episode. So how joyful. We've got a couple of guests lined up in the future for future episodes. So do make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those episodes as and when they happen. Thank you again. Catch you all again very soon.
Cheers.
Peace.